Thanks, Rob. All right, welcome to the Mission Bay Area Homeowners Association meeting for June 16th, 2015. We do have a quorum for the meeting. We do have a couple of guests that are here. I did ask everybody except for one person whether or not they had any questions for any items that were not on the agenda. If someone can pass her an agenda just so she can take a quick look and see if she has any questions on anything that's not on the agenda. Okay, you looked at it online, great. Did you have any questions for us on any item that is not on the agenda? All right. So we're going to call the meeting to order. It is 6:46. I did not get an opportunity to get the minutes completely typed up from last month, so we're going to hold those over until next month. I will get those out to the board soon. The financial matters, there were no additional costs or income during the month, so nothing changed from last month. As far as that's concerned, I do know that there are a few donations that came in on PayPal, but those haven't been processed as of yet. I've not heard anything from the Welcome Committee. Elaine, do you know if there's anything additional Lois wanted to share from the Garden Club?
Well, I sent you the message that we talked about. I mean, if you've seen the garden, I mean, it's full of flowers. It's just full of flowers. And we have $500 allotted to us for this year. And probably the only thing that we might buy is some fertilizer. But we think that 400 or 100 or even maybe 50, 100 max is all the money that we need. We don't need 500.
All right.
We don't know what we would do with it.
Do you guys know if you're going to be having any activities through June, July, August? Are you guys planning on any?
All we do is go weed. Well, that's all we do. I mean, and so we just do that on the spur of the minute. We usually, like for the 4th of July, I mean, for Memorial Day weekend, we went and we weeded and we just got everything pretty much looking good. And we'll do it probably, I won't do it because I won't be here, but I'm sure that they'll get it looking nice for the 4th of July.
All right.
But the weeds are really, I mean, they're pretty much under control now.
All right. So can I ask you to do me a favor, because I know for the 4th of July, usually what Lois does is call me and ask me for the flags so that the Garden Club can put those up like a day or so prior.
I'll tell Lois.
If you could ask her to give or email Tom, because he's going to be in charge of it this year, because I'm going to be out of town myself over the 4th of July, and Tom's the point of contact on the board for whatever we need. Also, you can reach out the other way from here. Okay.
So you'll contact Lois, or
can she reach out to me, or then I can reach her. If I haven't heard, I'll reach out to her. But yeah, ask her to reach out.
I'll contact you, Tom.
Yep.
Okay.
We're going to talk a little bit about the 4th of July, so I'm going to bypass that. Just wanted to do a quick note on the business liaison. Effective on June 1st, we did have the Trails discount go into effect. It's about a 20% discount to the Trails Recreation Center for all active members of the HOA. As you remember, the active members are the people who are in the trash program, donated $30 and/or volunteer at our events. So whichever way you want to do that is great. I know if you want to be a member of the Trails, it does save you somewhere in the area of about, I think the highest one actually puts it at about $250 savings for an annual pass for a family of 4. So it is well worth doing that. They've been very gracious in doing that.
Do we know if we have a response yet?
Trails has let me know that at least 6 people have signed up as a result of that. So I think that that's a good start. We just got it out in the newsletter, and
Right.
it's only been out for a couple of days. So that's a good start.
What is that? What is that?
The Trails Rec Center is going to be on Buckley and Orchard.
On the south side of Orchard, across the creek, across Piney Creek area.
Okay.
So I know it's a little bit out of the neighborhood, but it is probably the rec center that right now is offering the most to us, and they've been reaching out to us for about 7 months. We've been kind of dragging our feet with it in hopes that the folks at the rec center were going to turn around and respond to us. After we got everything settled with them and got all of our approvals and everything else with the rec center, is when we got notice from the rec center that there's going to be a community meeting tomorrow night, and that's on the agenda. We'll talk a little bit about that later on.
Is that the rec center corner?
At the corner near the fire department. Yeah, exactly. So we'll talk a little bit about that. That's the new business that's on our agenda tonight. All right. So going on to unfinished business. So at our last meeting, we talked a little bit about the grant application that we got awarded $5,000 from the city for a beautification grant. We had not selected dates at that point. The dates that the group, which includes Doug, myself, and Elaine, have approved are the 22nd of August, the 12th of September, and the 19th of September. There's a lot of work to get done. We're turning around, and I'm working with the city on arranging when things will be delivered for what day. The first day, obviously, is going to probably be the most impactful as far as the heavy lifting stuff that we need folks for. In that we're going to be making sure everything's clean. We got to turn around and we're going to be digging a small trench for larger rock. We're going to be laying down weed fabric and turning around and hopefully laying the base rock along the edge, which is going to be a larger rock. Then we have 3 weeks in between that day and the next work day. On that day, we're going to be turning around and starting to move some of the smaller rock. We do have 2 bobcats, but there's a long area that we're trying to cover. And so we're trying to get the bobcats to do a lot of the larger work for the longer moves. And if people want to turn around and help us out with wheelbarrows and stuff on the shorter distances, great. And then the 19th, we're going to finish off all that work. There's a lot of stuff to be done in there. We're hoping for 30 to 40 volunteers each day. We really need that kind of body count to get a lot of that stuff done. As you can imagine, if you're doing a lot of that strenuous work, it's going to wear you out quickly. So we want to try to be able to tag team with people and have people work in different areas so we can get the job done, and no more than 4 to 5 hours on each individual day. So the city's covering the cost on most of that that work. Yes.
I just thought of a couple other things that I didn't ask you earlier. As far as the flyers going out to, I mean, it's my opinion, and I don't know if you disagree or agree, but I think that we need to put flyers on the doors of all the people in the 2 middle circles and from Nassau down to the library, because I feel like we get the most volunteers from those areas. And I definitely think that getting volunteers is going to be one of the major difficult tasks to accomplish. So I just was wondering if that note that I wrote and I gave to you,
Yes.
I mean, it can be changed, but is it possible that we could get flyers like between, well, kind of like around the 6th, 7th of July? I mean, I would,
And are you volunteering to?
yes, I am.
yours?
I need to
I always ask the question, because people say, can we do this? And then they turn around and say, but, can you guys do it? And
I'm definitely
but if you're
volunteering to do it,
do
yes.
that,
How many homes is that?
Well, I'm trying to find, Roseanne Burshindi is the one that's been responsible for all of the newsletters being handed out. And I called her a couple times, but she must be out of town because she's not responding. So I don't really know. I'm guessing in the realm of 500 is what I'm guessing. So probably
pull up
500
the,
copies.
in there, can you pull up the calculator for a
And
second?
the other thing that I was wondering about too, is I think that if we're laying the fabric that day, I think that if we are going to plant some grass, the guy, the guy that does the xeriscaping grant claims, he suggested that we plant in groups, like maybe 3 grasses and just, but he said don't do a lot because the grass is kind of, you have to trim it every year and all of that.
Right.
So
I think
he was suggesting in the realm of like maybe 12 or,
Yeah,
in that area.
I think the number that the city and I came to, depending on exactly where we were gonna put them, we still have to take a look at exactly where they're gonna be planted. They would be planted in groups of 3, and they were looking at between 12 and 15. We just need to decide where those are gonna go. The hardest part is when you're doing it August, September, you need to be able to make sure that they get watered. And had we done it in this last month, they would have been fine.
Yeah, you think?
They would have been,
Saturated.
yes. Then what needs to happen is, because we're responsible for it, if we do it in, August or in September, obviously then we need to get people to go out there and water it a couple times a week. And that's something that we also need to coordinate with the homeowners that back up to wherever it is that we are going to plant those things, to make sure that they can turn around and take the hose and, do that for us a couple of times before the end of the year, and then continue to do it next year as it gets rooted. I know a lot of those grasses, once you get it rooted, you don't have to do anything to it. You don't have to water it or anything. We see that
He
over.
suggested, you got the note that the
Yeah.
time that he suggested
Yeah,
to plant, it's a very drought tolerant. And,
The other thing that we're concerned with, obviously, as we do that, I want to make sure that we may turn around and try to figure out and try to block off that so this doesn't have rock in that area, so we can actually plant it in the spring of next year. For the obvious reason of that, if you turn around and you do it and it's not rooted enough, and then we get to the winter months with all the mag chloride, it'll kill it. And so we'll plant it and then we'll kill it, and then we got to replace it in the spring. So we may turn around and we may look at how some of that kind of fits in there, and I'm working with the city on what that's going to look like. Okay, so all right. So calculator. Can you calculate for me 750 times 15 cents? 12.50. All right, so I'd like to make a motion then to the board to spend roughly $125, because I've got to figure taxes stuff in there, for making copies for the flyer for the Mission Viejo beautification grant.
I got a better idea.
Okay.
We have a motion on the table first.
Okay, well,
Next second,
okay, we have a second. Further
then
discussion?
we can discuss.
Go ahead. Further discussion.
You give me the paper, I'll make the copies for nothing. I get ink and everything else for free with my paper stuff. Just give me the paper, I can do it.
All right, so that means I need to get you 2 reams of paper.
Yeah.
So,
are you going to use in color?
yes,
Yes, all right.
all right.
That's just
So,
what the color
well,
print paper on, right? We'll just use the color paper and then it's
Color paper, not
Yeah.
color print.
So that,
Just color.
that's just whatever paper we buy.
that's just the paper that's done. So, all right, so let's see, a ream of paper, I think goes for probably about $10 for a ream of paper. So let's be safe and let's modify that then to $40. And it'll be less than that. So you're suggesting that we amend the total cost from $150 down to $40, so just for the paper?
Yes.
And you're gonna do the printing?
Yes.
All right, make sure you get that in
It
writing.
was 125.
Or
right?
125,
Yeah,
whatever.
125 to.
Down to 40. And Doug's gonna do the printing.
If I find like a really good deal on little pieces of candy, so that I can get their attention when they look at the paper. Will you,
I'll copy the candy too.
will you finance it?
So,
Here's the next thing.
I don't want them to just take it.
Maybe you need to have those flyers available for people for the 4th of July.
Well,
You guys.
well, there's 750 that we'll turn around and do there, and then we'll have another, because we'll have 1,000 pieces of paper, right? Because it's 500. If we can make them all down, and then we'll have available for the 4th of July. All right. You had a question, ma'am?
Suggestion more, how likely is it that we're gonna get 30 to 40 people each of those days?
That's
In
that's
the highly unlikely part,
that's the highly unlikely part.
since there is perhaps some extra money in the gardening section, what if we did a, giveaway of 4 $25 Tagawa gift certificates, random drawing from the people that attended and helped? So if they do all 3 days, they have 3 chances. If they do 1 day, they have a chance. But if it's people that are interested in.
All right, let's hold that thought for a minute. Let's turn around and let's finish off with this motion first and get the copy stuff done, and then we'll turn around and we'll entertain that thought. So we got $40 for the paper for the printing you're going to print. We're going to turn around and do some of them are going to be available for the 4th of July. The rest are going to go to Elaine, who's going to correct? Right. That's what I'm saying. All right. Any further discussion on that motion? All right. All those in favor? Aye. Okay. You'll have your copies. Okay.
How soon can I get the paper? That's what I mean.
We'll get the paper. We'll get it to you. I have the information for the flyers. We'll get that to you probably in the next week. Okay. So we can get that done so that she can have it. You can have it for the 4th of July.
You guys will have to talk to Roseanne and see like about how many copies, because
We're gonna make.
I'm leaving tomorrow, so.
We'll get.
So I,
We're making 1,000, so you'll have
1,000, oh, good.
you'll have plenty.
That's
All right.
wonderful.
All right. So now we had a suggestion that was brought forward to do some sort of gift card or something for an incentive for people who attend, that we could turn around and put this on the flyer to say, if there's one opportunity to win for each day that they enter, and multiple cards. Who would like to carry that forward in a motion?
I'd like to carry it forward in a motion. And then we'll have some discussion. So I'd like to make a motion that we would expend some of the garden club funds excess for incentive awards for volunteers for the work days.
All right, would you like to put $1? Would you like to put
And
$1?
$100 for like 4 awards, $25 awards.
Or $25 awards, okay?
One question, how does 4 go into 3?
We need a second.
Okay. 4 awards in 3 days.
For
No. The way that it goes is that there's a total of 4 awards.
Oh, 4, yes,
Okay.
But if you go
For
3
each-
times, you get 3 chances to win.
For each day,
I understand
you
now.
get a card,
Gotcha.
put it in, right? Essentially, we turn around like we do at the.
Okay, we have a second here. Now we can go to discussion.
So we had a second over here. So the discussion would be like
So if it's a raffle,
like a raffle.
each day you go is a different, another issue to get to the raffle.
Correct.
Gotcha.
And the more you volunteer, the more often your name goes in. So you have up to 3 chances, and that turns right.
And I guess we should clarify, I just thought about, per family or per person? Per entries per person or per family?
Entries per person.
Entry per
person.
I agree. That's how I intended it. I want to clarify that. Thank you.
Okay?
I think we want to reach out to, like, younger people, you know, like strong young men that, you know, would help us. And I'm not sure that they would want $1 gift certificates. So we just did $25.
I didn't define exactly what
high
shoes.
school kids.
We'll make a decision on what we think would work. We'll take suggestions.
Yeah, what the awards are. We didn't say what the here's before is the amounts so far.
Okay,
So to go as a thought, we'll think about it.
all right.
Other things that might be done over.
We may just do gift cards that are like Visa gift cards or whatever.
So no, it's no, there's usually service charge topics, so we'll.
Yeah.
I understand.
Right,
But
and
Quality
that's
housing.
small, but I think that's fine. Sir?
With regard to the volunteers, I may be able to leverage my unit or some of the Air Force units on base to help with that.
Oh, we'd love it.
But they get a little weird because it's a small organization. They may be like, oh, well, but I'll ask the question.
We'd love it. So,
Appreciate.
so, I'll talk to you a little bit more about that possibility as we're talking 4th of July and some other stuff.
Okay.
have this other one.
There was another thought just popped into my mind, and this was on the paper that I gave you, and you didn't comment on it, so I have no idea what you thought. But when I was at another meeting, I don't know, in the last few months or whatever, somebody said, well, is there any way that I could pay somebody to come and take my place? Because I'm old and I can't really do that work, but I'd be willing to pay somebody. And so I did put that on that paper, on the flyer, saying that if you were interested, if you want to, pay somebody to, to work for you.
Yeah, here's my problem with that thought. And while I appreciate that somebody is willing to say that, I already have enough on my plate as do you and a lot of other people. I don't need to add to that. Oh, you want to work for money? You don't want to work for a volunteer. So I'm going to pair you up. If somebody wants to do that, great.
Tell me you're like the Air Force guy.
If they would like to hire somebody who's young, I know in the back of the newsletter, there are people that are willing to do yard work, et cetera, et cetera. If they want to pay them $20 an hour or whatever their rate is, that's who they want to pick from, great, send them on over. You pay for them, we'll put them to work. If they want to do that, great. I don't want to do that suggestion, however, on the flyer, because then that would presume that we're going to arrange for it. And I don't have the time or the resources
And it's probably
to do that, and I think it's probably inappropriate to suggest that. But if somebody wants to do that, they're more than welcome to do that and hire somebody from out of the newsletter or the neighborhood kid that they know or whatever. That's fine. But I don't think that it's appropriate to have it in that flyer.
That's why I brought it up, because it was on the flyer that I sent you,
Yeah.
and you never commented.
No, I didn't comment on it.
Either you did,
I didn't comment on it.
Or you,
Yeah.
or you just,
So, any further discussion? We want to leave it at 4, or we'd like to go to 8? Because if we're hoping for 40 volunteers, here's what we're hoping for, right? We're hoping for 40 volunteers each day for 4 days.
3 days.
3
3 days. So we're talking 120 volunteers or equivalents, right? For that, do we want to stay at 4, which is, or do we want to go to 8?
Well, if we're using the Gardens Club money for this, they're going to be at the most using $100 this year, and they've been budgeted for $500.
Right?
So we have.
Well, again, that's budgeted money. We have, right?
Correct.
That's not actual money, and budgeted money and actual money are different things.
Right.
I don't want to go to the full, me personally, I don't want to go to the full 500 if we can avoid it, because we don't have all of our budgeted money in. And the way that we're sitting at right now, I think we're going to be at about full budgeted amount for the year. So I don't want to go past like 250 total. Okay. Plus, remember that the HOA is also taking care of about $350, $400 in water and ice for those people during that event. That's our contribution as well, which is not
Did we
budgeted.
budget for that?
No, we haven't budgeted for it. So that's why I'm saying there's
Now, so is that coming out of our normal 19% or even spent on the spray?
My thought was that the water was gonna come out of, because we're not doing the fall cleanup,
Right.
that the water would come out of what we normally spend on that fall cleanup.
That's what I was,
Right, that's what I was,
that's where I'm asking.
Right.
Yeah.
so that's a little bit different.
I would assume that's where, that's the landscaping, whatever.
Okay.
Right, so anyway,
I throwing that out, I'd like to modify my motion
okay,
to double it to 200,
double to
offering
8
8
awards,
$25 awards.
okay?
A second.
Second, any further discussion?
I want to throw one out there. Just because it's easier.
All right,
I mean, you said you don't want to go above 250.
Yeah, but at
Right.
the same time, I mean,
What if it?
I'd honestly like to save some of this money for all the other millions of activities that nobody volunteers for. I think $4 $25 awards is very reasonable for 30 people if we get them. Because we have so many other events that nobody participates to. I'd rather try to entice them to come to those.
I agree, you know, when we get to, you know, the other events that we have, you know, I mean, Music in the Park, Dumpster Day, we really don't need much help. But, you know, when you talk about, you know, particularly looking at like the hayride and all those other things, it takes a lot of resources to get like the tent up and doing all those other things. And I constantly see the same 4 or 5 people volunteering. I'd like to see other people volunteer. And I'd like to be able to say thank you to some of those people as things are going on. Not to say we don't do that at the annual meeting, we volunteer as well. So,
That's where I'm at.
Well, okay, what I was going to suggest is why don't we just meet halfway and do 6, and that way each day 2 people win.
I think we're putting a lot of time into this.
Well, I'm just saying, I mean,
I just think everybody puts their name
People,
in.
I agree with 30, I mean, this is.
but when though? Each time, and then after the 3rd one is when you pull them off?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Whatever, that was my
Okay.
thought. 2 per time, and that was it.
Two caveats that I want to add to it, to make sure that we keep it.
Oh, there you go.
And that is that as it is a raffle, no one under the age of 18 can.
It's not a really raffle,
It's
they're
not
not
a
entering.
raffle.
We are doing
You
it as
don't need
a,
a raffle now.
it's just a prize that we
I know, I know how the state is on
Right,
this.
but we wouldn't call it a raffle, but I agree that we limit it to so if it's a family, if a child, if they have an adult with them, that.
Can it go to the parent then?
The parent
We
Because
can go to the parent, but the child can't be entered into the drawing. Because we're also talking if it's a Visa gift card.
Yeah.
You have to make sure that you can legitimately turn
the
around.
hard thing is, there's probably some 17-year-olds that are gonna do better than a lot of our residents.
I realize that, but.
Is there anything we can do to modify so we can encourage the teenagers to come and help without?
If their parents enter them in, their parents can enter them in, but they cannot enter in. Okay? So if the parent can enter their name twice, if it's them and a teenage child or above,
If you skip one anyway, so then the parent could
Right.
write or give it to them.
however, if someone is coming with a 7-year-old, I don't want, because I'm not sure how much the 7-year-old is gonna contribute to that kind of work. Because it is very labor-intensive work. It's not like a cleanup where, you know, we're picking up trash or something like that, where a younger child who's helping their parent is able to do something.
So
This
maybe
is-
we do it
is-
same on age of 18 then, because
Right.
of liability reasons.
Right. I mean, that's part of what my concern is, anyway. Okay?
Okay, so we have an additional discussion saying hold money towards other, so I guess it's up just to decide if we want to amend again or do we want to vote? Vote or
So you had it at 200, right?
for eight
Original was
For 8
100.
awards,
no,
that was
100.
seconded. We had further discussion, I think that further discussion was squashed, so we still have the original, or the amended 200. Any further discussion on the 200? Any motions to modify the 200? If there's no further discussion and there's no further modification,
Well,
Oh.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
Is that Canadian dollars or US dollars?
No, I have that.
yeah,
Okay, then I'm good.
all right,
We're good.
all right. No further discussion. I call it to order. All those in favor? Aye. Moves
Did
forward.
we pass?
Yes.
We had enough votes to pass.
Was it unanimous or?
Unanimous.
As a cost saver, if you decide you want to get the music gift cards, if you got them from something like Home Depot that also sells the water, I bet we could make a deal that if we buy $100 worth of gift cards, they give us the water at half price or.
We'll
I don't
figure
mind.
some- we'll figure something out. We'll figure something out. All right,
I get 10% off at Home Depot, so you know.
so do I.
So do I.
But thank you.
Yes.
All right. Moving on to the 4th of July picnic. 4th of July picnic as of right now is still on. I'll have a discussion with you after on some of the other issues that you and I talked about this weekend. Donations are still on. And I did add something to the beginning of the agenda that I missed, so let me backtrack first for a second. I apologize. There was one item that was above unfinished business that we need to attend to, and that is, I received today an email.
You did too.
Yes, we all should have received. Carrie Milliman, who is the sixth member of the board, has tendered her resignation due to circumstances beyond her control, and she asks that we accept her resignation from the board.
That's really.
So it's new business, but I tender it because well, in this case, it doesn't change the number of votes required or anything else, but so that it's noted that she has tendered it, and that's good. It does change it because normally if there's an odd number, I don't vote unless there's a tie. If there's an odd number of board members, I don't vote as president unless there's a split. It's half and half. Then I vote. Okay. So
All your votes haven't counted.
So all my votes really haven't counted.
And we're still unanimous.
All right, thank you.
Next time we'll break it up, just. Okay, back to
All right.
July 4th.
Back to July 4th. So,
Do we have to do anything with Carrie? Do we have to vote on it? or is
no,
this-
I just wanted to check, do you know if she has a computer or any other technology that belongs to the HOA? That I need to retrieve?
If she's not, only she has the emails we need to read.
Okay, so if you could arrange for that, I would appreciate it.
So new business will make that official.
Yes. So I needed to make sure that it was noted before we got to the business. 4th of July picnic is still on. It's still the 4th of July. It's, Jeremiah, you Boy Scouts are still coming out.
Yeah.
Flag ceremony.
We did ask you a flagpole middle of the
Great. We still have some of the other games and other stuff being put up. We will need help on the 4th of July. Generally, the event kicks off at 10 o'clock with a bike and pet parade that we have. So I need to make sure that this is already approved in the budget, so you'll need to make a motion on awards and prizes for the picnic. But I need to make sure that you pick up a couple of gift certificates for the pet award, for the bike awards, blah, 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 that stuff. We do need help with setting up and taking down, and taking down of the tents and stuff. There's quite a bit of stuff that gets put up by the HOA for that event. You also need to put water and ice.
What time do we need volunteers?
Need volunteers to start coming out there. What time do you want to be out there? 9 early. 9?
I'll be out there before then. So we're, 9 or before that.
Make it 9, because I'm sure that he's going to be doing some running around with ice, etc. We can 9 o'clock.
And then it ends again, what time?
The event goes from 10 to 1, and then we'll need
Runs
some.
out, it's done when it's done.
Yeah.
So tearing down around 1 o'clock.
Tearing down around 1
About how many volunteers do we need?
As many as we can get, the more volunteers we have, the better off we are. So tear all that stuff down.
Okay, I made myself.
And, I don't know, so send me that.
I got one, I got two. I'm gonna be in town, I'm gonna be in town. I'll be there.
So what do you need then? Yes, I'll do it. Okay.
Oh, and right just a reminder to remind me for a check to pay.
There you go.
Volunteers for July, we can.
Well, that one's a little more in
Volunteers
this short term
in
thing.
charge of them.
I'll volunteer for it.
Say again?
myself. It's not working.
We don't get a lot of volunteers, so
That
we
you
get excited.
haven't unless somebody volunteered to be in charge, so who volunteered
Well-
to be in charge?
Well, here's the thing, Troy is in charge of the event and coordinating the event. And we kept asking him to have somebody, with a list of, who were the volunteers and what was going on and coordinating some of the efforts that he had. And I asked him how many volunteers he had, and he said he had about eight or nine volunteers to dole out food. And that was about the end of it. And it was the same volunteers that always volunteer for the 4th of July. Well, that doesn't help us with getting things set up, doesn't help us with other things. If we get the food stuff taken care of, that's great. If we have a couple of extra bodies to help us with the pop-ups, and we do the misting tent, we do a couple of things that we do for during that time. The garden club can help us with the flags around the thing. Those kind of things, I think, will be fine. I did get a couple of emails of people volunteering for the 4th of July in particular as a result of that post in the newsletter. We're still looking for more because it does take a lot of people to put that event together. Generally, we feed, it's like 500 hot dogs or somewhere in that area. And there's 2,000 homes in the neighborhood. So generally, we don't have that much food or water left over. So that's a lot of people to feed. That's like feeding an army.
Is there a good turnout?
There's usually a pretty good turnout. And
I still don't have a hot dog.
yeah, you need to go coordinate that.
Well, he emailed me, I called him, what the voice talking about.
All right. Give him a call back. Because I'd really like to try to take care of some of that. Because I know he's going to be out of town for the 4th of July. I have not coordinated anything, and I don't know if Troy has coordinated anything. I know in years past we've had, fire truck out, right? I don't know that kind of thing. I don't know if he has. If you can check on that as well. I did check to make sure that all of the picnic areas in the park are under reservation with our name on it. It is.
So these awards that we give out, did we post that somewhere so people know what we do?
We have a tradition of doing it.
That's a fairly new person living in here. I had no idea that we did this.
Yeah, usually what we do is we post it in the newsletter the month after.
No, but how do people know, like for new people that just moved into the area, how do they know what we're actually giving awards for? Because I don't remember seeing that. Was it?
Well, yeah, there's a bike in, all right, so
Did we do it? I don't know if that's.
I think we,
I just let her, which may not
I don't
make
remember.
sense.
we can talk with Jeremiah to make sure that there's something on the webpage for the 4th of July event. to
I
talk about.
can post something on our social media, but I just want to make sure because
Yeah.
I didn't even realize we did that. I can't imagine I'm the only person
All right, so we have,
and I'm on the board.
Yeah. so we have essentially a series of prizes that we give away on the 4th of July for that. And that is like most patriotic pet, first, second, and third prize. And then most patriotic bike,
That's just first and second.
first,
Yeah.
bike, and then we also have a boy and girl category, right?
Okay, so first and second, not
First and second, right? It's First and second pet, first and second decorated
decorated bike.
bike / trike / whatever, and then first and second child. Male. That should be best male, best female.
We have a family category as well as.
Yeah, that's right. We have best cat. Yeah, it's four.
Those are the patriotic families.
So family and individual male, individual female. Wow, we do a
Group
lot.
boy, group.
Yeah,
So kids, not.
Okay, family and then boy, girl.
Right. So family.
Yep.
Boy and girl.
Right. Best family, best boy, best girl, best first and second decorated. And
So best
first and
family,
second
family, boy and girl's one, and then first and second for pet buddies.
Yep.
Okay.
So a total of 7.
Yeah.
Subreddits.
Right, usually I think like a pet award is like a Marcus, we get to Petco or something like that, and then we figure out some kind of
Okay.
toy or something for.
Okay. So Jeremiah, you'll put this out on the website too?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
All that.
Got
So
it.
that starts at 10, and then, so what we do is we, to start off the event, we have flag raising for the Boy Scouts, followed by the pet/bike raid going around a small part of the park, and then we turn around and we'll have bouncy castles and other things to keep folks entertained, a couple of games, stuff like that. I believe at 11 usually is when we start doing 11:30, somewhere around there. We start doing food, ask people to kind of stay in there. I know, I think it was 2 or 3 years ago, we did have where we had purchased several, King Supers gift cards, $10 gift cards for kind of raffling away during the event to kind of entice people to hang around and stay. We did that a couple of years ago.
I think we actually had enough participation. I think
I think we're good with that. We've had music taken care of for that day and everything else. Is there anything I'm missing? I want to make sure that we've got everything covered, that everybody is covered, that it's going to be taken care of. We're good? Okay. All right. All right. So no further discussion on that. Next month we'll turn around and we'll do a.
Do we have any kind of decorations?
There are some decorations such as the flags and stuff that are around, and then some of the other decorations around the pop-ups set up. Just
What time are you doing this? Sorry,
Okay.
actually, yeah, if they can be ready to start at 10, so that we can then make the agenda item right after. So if they need any setup time.
Well, I was coming in early.
Don't forget, PA's equipment generator. All right. All right. On to the next event. Oh, okay.
No, you're fine.
No, go ahead.
4th of July, do you allow booths there for somebody to just give water and that kind of stuff away for free, you know?
Yeah, I mean, generally we turn around and we have, I think, somewhere in the area about 300 bottles of water that we keep cooled off on the food. So giving away water is not really a big thing. I know some years we've had, like the churches and some other groups turn around and say they wanted to come in and set up a booth to, do whatever, game with prizes or whatever the case is. And normally that's, coordinated with us, prior to the event if they want to come set something up.
The only thing that we do not allow, and if, I don't know, are we allowing them to even show up? Is political.
Yes, no,
No political.
yes.
We've had issues in the past where they wanted to not have just people come to them, but they started to go out and we said, no, we wanted it to be a fun event for whoever. We didn't want any pressure for anything. It was just,
Right.
if you want to go see them was one thing. Well, they kept up. We said, that's it. We're not doing any more political.
So the answer to his question is, unless it's political, then yes, as long as he coordinates it with
They
us.
could, right, just let us know they want to come and do something, set up a booth, set up a table, is fine. But they need to just get in touch with me through the website or through email and stuff, and then that's fine. Just cannot be politically oriented by any group. That keeps it nice and clean.
Absolutely.
All right.
Keeps it a fun event for the family.
Oh, yeah, that's all.
Yep.
My kids go out there.
All right. So next event that I wanted to just touch base with you guys on is Music in the Park. Last we talked, we had not coordinated any kind of music. I have contacted and come into agreement with the Aurora Brass to give us music. They're going to do a compilation of 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s music. We're for 2 hours. And the price is at $400.
That sounds good.
I know it's in our budget, and I know that it is reasonable, so I need to turn around and ask a motion on the board to approve the $400 for kids, and then have a question on whether or not we're going to do your votes again this year.
Second.
Who put the motion?
A motion.
Oh, I
Right?
thought
Who's asking for one?
I'll motion.
Ask for a motion.
I will motion.
I'll say, okay.
You do it then.
There you go. No, I want to do it. No.
Any further discussion on the Aurora brass?
I think it's an excellent choice.
And what time is this?
It's on the 15th of August, beginning at 5:30 to 7:30. What setup we need for that event is a PA system, generator, and a pop-up for the quartet, for the brass quartet, and some chairs.
Do we need volunteers for this one?
Not really, because it's not a whole lot of setup. Water for the band as well. We will have water also for the battery, PA water, and pop-up chairs.
Pop-up, we'll need 2 pop-ups, one for the ice cream area.
So
So root beer floats are
Good for you.
definite?
Guess you haven't discussed it yet.
we haven't discussed it yet. We do root beer floats.
Right, so we got,
So I'm going with brass first. So
right, and
we had
and to go along with the brass on the discussion is the pop-up generator PA water at our time. I think that's all,
Chairs.
right?
and chairs.
Chairs. It's 1 to 4 people.
I'm getting confirmation. He said it's probably going to be a brass quartet, but it's possibly more. He will give me, before next meeting, I will know how many people.
Okay, then I don't know how many chairs.
All right, okay? So any other discussion on that?
No.
Okay, I'll call it to order. All those in favor? Okay, carries. All right? No? No, just say, just unanimous. So the next part of that is on root beer floats, So the last couple of years, what we've been doing is turning around and having root beer floats. So this comes the ice cream, the root beer. We need ice for the ice chests, and then also water for people that have been drinking in the back. Is that something we want to do again this year? I know last year it went over phenomenally. We did not have any ice cream or root beer.
Yeah,
Last year, Schwann still had the ice cream.
Yeah, Schwann donated the ice cream last year,
Okay.
which is fine, because we were planning to buy our ice cream, and they donated it.
Right, they donated, so we didn't have to fund it.
And they're not doing that this year?
They have
We haven't contacted them yet. Is that something, first of all, that we want to? Swan's ice cream, or Swan's home delivery of frozen stuff. Is that something that we would like me to contact Swan's regarding that again this year for the
Did
donation?
that one last year.
And then that was number 1. And number 2, we want to do the root beer floats then, because that's going to cost us about
Even when we pay for everything, it costs us around $75.
Right.
75
Oh,
to
really?
75 to
Our
100.
donation saves us.
Ice cream
Close to
was
that,
expensive.
I imagine.
So,
I'll make a motion that we let do root beer floats, because I
second.
enjoyed them.
okay. You want to put a dollar amount to that? You say
Just to be safe, less than 50.
What, $100, just to be safe?
$100.
I
to
would
be
say
safe.
$100.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so motion is at $100.
No more than 100.
Do I have a second to that motion?
Second. We're gonna make a motion.
You made the motion?
Okay.
I can't keep track anymore.
I will make the motion.
I thought Tom was motion too.
All right.
Yeah,
All right.
Tom made the motion.
All right, so you're seconding it. All right, any further discussion? Sorry, this gets crazy, doesn't it?
I'm gonna go buy a book of Robert's rules.
Any further discussion?
All
right.
And then, just, I guess to clarify, if Schwann's will not, we'll fund the ice cream if they don't want to participate. Otherwise, if they do, we're still fine.
Okay,
Okay,
yes.
yeah, then it's all good.
Okay. All right, so if there's no further discussion, no further comments, call to order. All those in favor?
Yep.
Aye. It's unanimous.
Okay,
As Wendy mentioned, we'll need to have the tables and another canopy set up for that.
yeah, I've got the canopy already in tables.
Yeah, we can take it back.
So Alan, you're gonna contact Schwann's?
Yeah, on context points.
Yeah, I'll
Looks like a truck driver too.
take care of you for the
I'll
photos.
just reach out there and have them see it.
Yeah,
I'll take care of you.
because you'll probably see it before I make something out. All right, so a couple other things that are on the agenda, I'm just gonna make note of them. We're not having to do anything further, and don't need to do anything, for the next item at the meeting tonight. Dumpster day is October 3rd is what we agreed upon. So dumpster day, by the way, so for you guys here, dumpster day is a day that the HOA turns around and picks up the tab on 2 trash trucks. Okay, other than, oils and electronics and, refrigerators and that kind of thing. You can pretty much, as long as you show you're an active member of the HOA, then you can bring the trash, you can bring a truckload, carload of trash, and you can dump it in there at no cost.
Or some basis multiplier, as long as you come back.
And we're here. Yep.
Are we gonna discuss later about the possibility of opening up to other neighborhoods for a fee? Are we gonna do that later?
So the issue we always had is even with our neighborhood, we still filled up the cars and the trucks every single time.
Yeah, we've, just because of the.
Oh, okay.
So I think it's an opportunity for us to make more money though.
Oh,
I
okay,
think it's
all
for
right,
the
all right.
community, isn't
Okay,
it?
so that's what you're talking about.
I'm only talking about putting the money back into the community,
Oh, okay.
not for us.
It costs us
Let's make
about.
that clear.
You're on video, don't forget.
That's okay.
It costs the HOA about $1,200 per event. I know that we've had, in the past, we can have some of the discussion about this. In the past, we've had some people turn around and come to us and say, I don't live in your community, I live nearby, or, I'm a member of Holy Love Church, can I turn around and can I bring the trash by if it's towards the end and there's room? Obviously, the first thing that I want to do before I turn around and I'm worried about money, I want to turn around and take care of those people who are active members within the HOA that have donated, that have volunteered their time, energy, and effort to making the HOA a success. So if there's, then I personally I don't have a problem, but I think we need to have, if you'd like, to put together something for the next meeting to turn around and see what that might look like, say from 8 o'clock in the morning till 10. That is reserved only for the active HOA members. Anybody after that is, if there's space, that those people can come in and they can pay $25 or however much you decide that you want to put on that motion. And if you can put that together for next month, then we can turn around and bring it to the table. Okay?
Got it.
Does that work?
Yes.
Great. That's less work for me, so then I don't have to do that. All right, National Night Out is Tuesday, August 4th. I have no here to confirm with you or.
We're good. Already have it on the calendar.
Have it on your calendar, Scouts, turn around and do that.
They have fun doing it.
All right,
And we'll bring the game, we'll games from the whatever it's called.
all right. And you're gonna turn around like we have in the past, turn around and grab water from whatever's left from the 4th of July, and if we need to pick up something, you'll pick that up.
And this is one where we have community.
National Night Out, so it's going to be at Michigan Park. They bring in all of the fire trucks,
Yeah.
police cars,
Right.
a cool SWAT vehicle.
And what do the kids do?
So they basically, the scouts, what they do, what they did, they just, since we don't know exactly what time they're going to show up, so they run all the different games that we have in our shed and just keep everyone active
Active and occupied.
and occupied until they show up.
And what did we do to get the city to come by the park?
That's already taken care of.
They actually reach out to us because we seem to have the highest.
Yeah. Last year, out of all the places, Aurora made, I think, 4 or 5 stops last year. And out of every place that they visited last year, Michigan Park had the highest number of people attending.
And so we don't know what time they show up, though, we just kind of tell
Well,
people.
they'll give us, as the time gets
They'll give
closer, the time frame that says they'll be here around 6:30.
Okay.
So then we turn around and we say, sometime around this time they'll be coming.
Okay.
And
Do you know that Swan last year also showed up for that?
Yeah, so,
So you might want to just mention to that's happening. It's up to them if they want to, but that would be just show
Yeah,
how
they did come out last time, Sean's me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so.
When they do more ice cream.
They brought
They
individual
actually
service.
brought, other types of, like the little push-up things and stuff, yeah, the portable. Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously, they use it for advertising, which is fine.
Yeah.
Fine.
Right.
Free ice cream, free ice cream.
Okay.
But they're good
All right,
artists.
so we can talk to them about that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they want to continue that with us. After long and arduous discussions, neighborhood garage sale is set for the 7th and 8th. Sorry, it's,
That's right.
of August. I will need help getting on signs. I do know that Todd is helping us get the stuff into the other media outlets that we've traditionally used. We have never turned around and taken an ad and put it into the Denver Post to say that there is a community garage sale in Mission Viejo. The question is do we want to do something like that?
Craigslist.
Well, that's what you must suggest.
Oh,
What's that?
That's what I said, yeah.
Oh, we put it out on all those forms of media. It was just
what's the response that we normally get?
within the community, when we've had the community garage sale, usually we've had it in June, and it got behind us this year. Usually we have probably 10% of the households in the neighborhood participate in the community garage sale. On that day, we put up signs everywhere, large signs said it's a community garage sale. And people tell us that obviously it was true because we forgot to put it on the thing, and all of a sudden at the beginning of June, I must have gotten 20, 25 emails of people asking us if we were doing a community garage sale this year.
Yeah,
Obviously, it's something that people are looking for and hoping for, and must be at least successful for people wanting us to do that.
Yeah. There's no way for us to track it because it's some kind of individual. So, yeah.
Right.
So, but yeah, I got actually a couple emails asking me. I was going to bring it up today, but obviously it's
So what's that?
I have people from my church that live in this neighborhood asking me if we're doing it.
The garage sale?
Yeah.
All right.
So do we all do it from one location?
No,
it's everyone's
individual house has it.
Okay.
Once it's the whole neighborhood's doing it, you're not going by it. Right.
But
We put out
what we-
signs out to the
So what we do is
house.
let everyone know there's going to be, this neighborhood will be having, just like if you see like Shenandoah had their community garage sale, they have signs out saying, it's a group community garage sale.
There are a bunch of them that did, I think it's good down there, but I think you ought to have the dumpster day the day after the garage sale.
I think I mentioned that in the last meeting, I think I did mention that.
We've done the dumpster, this is the third year that we're doing the dumpster day. And the reason that we've chosen the beginning of October is people do their end of summer clean out. The first year that we did it, actually, we wound up with the storms of September 2013, and the city had
3 roll-offs.
3 roll-offs,
Every
emptied every day for 3 weeks. And we had our dumpster day the Saturday after that. And we completely packed both of the trash trucks in less than 4 hours. So we know that we get a lot of storms and a lot of people wind up having to clean up and trying to get ready for winter and turning around and saying, I need to get and start doing all that stuff at the end of the summer, which is the reason that we've traditionally put it around that time of the year. I agree with you. It'd be nice to have a dumpster day around here, but it's another $1,200 out of the HOA's pocket. I would encourage people, if they're selling it, that they turn around and try to coordinate with Goodwill and with other folks to turn around and do that. I know that last year, the owners that were at the rec center at that time, they coordinated, and I believe, I forgot which one it was that they had, I think it was ARC. They had a staging area for ARC to be there on Saturday at like 4 o'clock, and people could turn around and bring whatever they had left. If they wanted to donate, they could bring it there rather than having to go all the way to ARC. Park or Goodwill or somewhere else. I can try to take a look at that. I don't know whether or not I'll be able to get that done with a lot of the other things I have on my shoulders. So we'll continue where we are on that, but I do appreciate that comment. So there's nothing further on that. Moving on to new business. Tomorrow evening, beginning at 6:30 p.m., Mission Viejo Elementary School will be a community meeting that's being held and hosted by the City of Aurora regarding the business plans and meeting with the current owners of the rec center facility. I can tell you that I've received indication from the city that they are still committed in having the rec center as a rec center. That's what they've been continuously told. That's what we're supposed to hear more about what their plan is to operate that facility as such. There is some concern, there has been some concern raised by the community about the naming of the facility, which is the Colorado Muslim Community Center. According to Colorado statute, as well as federal statute, the name must be by any rec center must be, and that's semi-public, and it's listed as a rec center facility. Must have a name that is welcoming to everybody. A lot of people are complaining that by having it listed as a Muslim community center, that it says that it's not inviting to the rest of the community. We'll be having some discussion with them tomorrow night over that. I strongly encourage people within the neighborhood to come talk to these people. I'll be there at the suggestion of the person who was in charge of the committee to turn around and try to coordinate people within the neighborhood to the discussion. Todd had recommended to us that we also have an attorney on hand representing the HOA. Syed, who is the person that contacted the city and who I communicated with yesterday, does come from a law firm, so I'm assuming that the rec center is bringing their attorney, the city is bringing their attorney, and so with some discussion and having contacted Bob Holden's office, Bob is turning around and sending a representative on our behalf to that meeting. We still do have some retainer funds with him, so there's nothing coming out of the operating budget as far as that's concerned. But I did want to have some discussion with you all to I know there was an email discussion. I got 1 or 2 responses back. I want to have your thoughts about whether or not good idea. My thought is that our attorney will be there to listen and to be able to provide the board advice on whether or not we need to move forward with any of the things. Is that you all feel like to do?
I absolutely think he needs to be there.
You think that he needs to be there?
Yes, I would agree.
Okay. I'm planning on being there as well.
I'm leaving the next morning at 6. I have one other thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I will not be able to make it out of the next meeting.
Okay. So, those are the important things that, we need to make sure that we attend those meetings. Some of the people that I've heard back from say, well, they already have the name on there, the Colorado Muslim Community Center. That's not going to change. The city's not going to do anything, and blah, blah, blah. And, I've seen prayer rugs in there. It's more than 50% of the facility, blah, blah, blah. These are all things that are going to be discussed tomorrow evening and talked about, and with the attorneys there and everything else to see whether or not they're meeting the criteria and what their business plan shows.
again, it has to be, name of the facility has to be welcoming to all residents.
To anybody, to the public. To the public. It cannot be exclusive or discriminatory. And they say Jewish, you can't say Christian, you can't say Muslim, you can't say. And we just want to make sure that, you know, that they're meeting all those criteria. You know, I've heard people turn around and make comment, you know, as far as whether or not they feel that it's inviting, not inviting, et cetera, et cetera. I encourage those people to come and to turn around and meet these people and see what their plan is and how they plan on integrating with the community. Yes.
Where is that meeting gonna be?
Mission Viejo Elementary School.
Okay.
It's the one behind the park, right?
Not the.
The elementary school.
Behind Mission Viejo Park, right? Oh.
No,
Not behind it, but it's
The elementary
On the same
school
street.
is,
Yeah.
it's on the
They
same
changed the
street, but it's all the way at the end.
Park Mission Parkway, it's Alicia Parkway.
Right, Alicia Parkway, Mission Viejo Parkway, where they meet generally.
Yes.
It is gonna be at 6:30.
Probably the
And
cafeteria, the gym, do we know?
It's either gonna be the cafeteria or the gym, so if you're looking at the front of the school, do not try to go to the entrance to the far right. That's the, you know, the access for the kids, and, you know, where the offices are. To the far left of the building, you'll see that there's a dumpster thing, and there's a couple of steps, and there's a door that enters there. It's either gonna be that door, or there's gonna be a door that's right behind that. One of those two doors will be open. That's where the meeting will be held, okay? I have told them that I would bring the projector in case they had anything that they would like to do, our projector, right, to make sure that if they had anything that they would like to display as part of that, that we would have available. Okay.
With regards to that, what cable do they want? Is the HDMI cable is not in there, it's in my house, like you can switch.
Just bringing the standard cable for regular.
Depends what kind of computer they have, so there's the normal projector, the normal VGA. I'll get you the HDMI one just as a backup in case they have weird, only has HDMI out.
Okay, if you can do that.
Yeah, we haven't used it in a while, so I kind of just.
Yeah. If you can grab that stuff and make sure that I have it available for you tomorrow evening, great. With that said, I think we've covered everything that's in the meeting. Is there any other questions, comments on any of the issues that we've covered? I'm certainly hopeful in trying to meet with these folks tomorrow evening to try to iron out some of the differences that are there and try to move forward and try to be good neighbors with the new owners that are there. I know that the city is adamant about, you know, them meeting the standards of burden by July 1st. Is what I put an indication for the budget.
So then it's been decided that you will be asking the attorney to attend?
The attorney will, it has already been asked.
Yeah.
Asked and answered, the attorney will be there. And the attorney. And the attorney. It's not going to be Bob, it will be the attorney from his office. And actually have that attorney. So. All right. Is there anything else you guys had?
One quick note about the dumpster day, just stuff that you said about $25 for whatever, but I'm assuming somebody could show up there at 8 o'clock in the morning with $30, join it, and pay that and do it, right? Or could they if they're?
We'll discuss that. We'll discuss that. That'll be part of our motion.
Okay.
For the next meeting. Next meeting.
Okay, I'm good with that.
If you have any thoughts and ideas on that, why don't you email that to her? And Erica would be more than happy to entertain trying to put all that stuff together for us. For the next meeting.
Look at her.
I think it's my presentation all of a sudden. Right.
Okay, all right.
That was it.
I'll just put some thought into it and try to put it together so that we can try to answer some of those questions.
Okay.
And I think that will be fun. All right, any other questions? If there's none, it is 7:55.
I made a motion to end our meeting.
Second that motion.
I have a second. Any further discussion? If there's no further discussion, meeting is adjourned at 7:05. Next meeting will be held on July 21st at 6:30 p.m. here.
Right. Same time.